My name is Mike Murphy. I'm a detective with the City of Marl Police Department. Lieutenant Beer, Chief Calloway is formally introduced. Tell you a little bit about us. Right now, Lieutenant Beer and myself, we've been actively learning more and more about active shooters, so we can go out and train our civilians and train our public in our churches and schools and how to actually survive a situation, something like that. Hopefully this presentation, you can bring something away from it. If you have any questions, we're going to hang around for a little while afterwards if you don't want to ask them in front of everybody. So we'll go ahead and start off with a video from Homeland Security. This is a short one.
Detective Mark, can I say a couple things?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I've got to bounce. I apologize. I've got another engagement I've got to go to. But I wanted to personally come and see you guys tonight and say hello to you. This stuff, none of this is meant to scare you because we know as believers where our true protection comes from, correct?
That's right.
Okay, but we also have to be smart and diligent about our safety and our security. This kind of stuff has happened in churches around the country. Some things you hear about more than others, but we wanted to push this down to you. This is good information from our trainers here tonight. And the reason that we're pushing this out, not only to the general public, but to schools, but in particular churches, is because I personally believe that Satan has a plan. And his mission is to steal, kill, and destroy, and instill fear in us. And our job is not to be fearful. And my job as a leader of the police department is to facilitate and to direct these guys, to give them the training they need to give to push us back into our communities. So the information that you're going to receive tonight is very good information. They've trained very hard. They trained with the military. They trained with other police organizations locally here. And I want to let you know that we, the Marl Police Department, are here for you and your church for whatever your needs are. I've already given my card to the pastor. My cards are up here. My email address is on there. Whatever you want. If you want us to come back and give another presentation on another subject, safety, stranger danger, whatever the case may be, we're here for you, okay? Thank you guys, and God bless you.
Thank you.
And on another short note, this presentation tonight is not directed specifically for churches or any places of worship. It's a broad spectrum presentation. It's going to cover businesses, schools, wherever you're at.
When you walk into the office every morning, you never expect your day to be turned inside out by a freak event. Most workplaces have a plan for dealing with catastrophes like fires and extreme weather, but what about an active shooter? Today, we're talking about how to prepare for armed intruders and the 3 choices you have to protect yourself from harm. Run, hide, fight. So let's run through a simple scenario. A man walks into your workplace armed and looking for a specific person. If your building has effectively locked down its unmonitored entry points, like a back door or a loading area, the intruder will most likely enter through the front. Whoever has access to the phone system or public announcement system should have a standard message ready to go for such an event.
There's a threat to your safety. Please seek shelter immediately. There's a threat to your safety. Please seek shelter immediately.
At this point, you have 3 options: run, hide, or fight. If you choose to run, you'll want to find the nearest exit and proceed with caution. Don't worry about rounding up your stuff. Leave it behind. Searching for your mobile phone or grabbing your bag could cost valuable seconds. If others around you choose not to run, you must leave them behind. Once you've made your decision to evacuate, you have little time to wait around for your coworkers. Stay on the lookout for others who may be unaware of the threat. Inform them of the danger and urge them to go with you as you escape to a safe area. Once you make it to the safe area, keep your hands visible and follow instructions from any law enforcement officers. Do not leave the safe area until they give you an all clear. If you choose to hide, you'll need to locate the closest door to you that locks. Maybe it's a storeroom or an office or a conference room. Once you enter the room, turn out the lights and lock the door. Blockade the door if possible. Turn off the ringer on your phone. If you have access to any social media accounts like Twitter or Facebook, silently post a message to your profile stating exactly where you are and any information you have about the incident. Authorities will be monitoring social media as soon as they are made aware of the intruder. As a last resort, and only when your life is in imminent danger, you may need to prepare to fight the intruder. Canvass the room for anything that can be used used for a weapon. If the shooter enters the room, act as aggressively as possible towards them. Yell and create as much noise as you can. That way, your fellow coworkers, who are also hiding, and any law enforcement officers in the area know where the shooter is located. Just so you know, first responders' top priority is to eliminate any threats in the area. They won't stop to assist the injured or to rescue you before they can neutralize the shooter. When you encounter law enforcement, try to remain calm, following their every instruction, and keep your hands up and visible at all times. The key to surviving any workplace danger, let alone an active shooter event, is to have a plan and to practice that plan. Survey the area around your desk to locate the quickest place to exit and the closest rooms with locking doors. If your building has security, work with them periodically to hold an active shooter drill. Afterwards, everyone should get together to talk about what safety strategies worked best and ways your office could improve upon their response. Only you can judge the appropriate action to take if an armed intruder enters your office. You have 3 options: run, hide, fight. For more safety-related videos, check out the SORM website or subscribe to our YouTube channel.
You're about to watch an educational video about a disturbing subject.
That's it. Okay, that's just a little quick video Homeland Security put together. There's great acting in it. I'm gonna get a little more in depth. If that's okay with you guys. Because I want you guys to be educated, because education is the key to survival. All right, active shooter. Active shooter situations are unpredictable and evolve quickly. Typically, an immediate deployment of law enforcement is required to stop the shooting and mitigate harm to victims. Because an active shooter situations are over often within 10-15 minutes, sometimes before law enforcement arrives on the scene, individuals must be prepared both mentally and physically to deal with an active shooter situation. Today, we're going to identify what an active shooter is. We're going to learn how to respond to an active shooter incident. We're going to learn how to respond when law enforcement arrives on the scene in an active shooter incident. We know what to say, what information needs to be relayed when making a 911 call for an active shooter. How to recognize indicators of potential violence from employees or members. Preparing a plan of action for an active shooter incident. Assisting injured persons and special needs. What needs to happen after the active shooter is stopped. Any questions? All right. Active shooter, or as I call them, active killers. Because that's what they're doing, is they're out there killing. Department of Homeland Security defines an active shooter or killer as an individual actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a confined and populated area. In most cases, active shooters, killers use firearms, and there's no pattern or method to their selection of victims. Active shooter involved incidents are more prevalent now than ever in the U.S. and throughout the world. According to the FBI, 2014-2015 saw 20 active shooter incidents. That's more than any 2-year average in the past 16 years, nearly 6 times as many as appeared between 2000 and 2001, the starting point for the FBI's review. So that means that it's growing and getting worse. There's a little chart to show how bad it's getting. Let's move to 2016, 2017. The FBI has designated 50 shootings in 2016 and 2017 as active shooter incidents. 20 incidents occurred in 16, while 30 occurred in 17. That's 30 incidents last year. Breaking down by the numbers. 16 and 17, these are the stats. 50 active shooter incidents in 21 different states. 943 casualties, excluding the shooters. 221 people killed, 722 injured. 13 law enforcement officers killed, 20 law enforcement officers injured. 20 incidents met the definition of a mass killing. Y'all know what a mass killing defined is? What is it? Well, to a point. What's the magic number the U.S. government calls a mass killing?
120?
3 or more.
Wow, wow.
3 or more people is called a mass killing in one incident. Which that one incident doesn't have to be in one place. It can start here and move down the street, but it's the same person doing the harm.
So in other words, we have mass killings every day.
To a point, but it's not one person inflicting the harm. I mean, there's a lot of times like drive-by shootings, for instance. That would be considered a mass killing if 3 or more people were killed. Things like that. But I mean, if someone opens fire in a Walmart or in a church, they kill 3 or more people, that's considered a mass killing. 14 incidents ended up with exchange of gunfire between the shooter and law enforcement. 50 different shooters, they were all male. That's one of the biggest keys they've pointed on, that women don't seem like going out and killing people, thank goodness.
Can that change?
Yeah, that can change. That can change.
I know some women.
The one in the back there, we gotta watch her. 3 shooters wore body armor for protection. So that means it took a lot more to take them down. 13 shooters committed suicide because they were cowards to start with, so they went out a cowardly way. 11 shooters were neutralized by law enforcement. 8 shooters were stopped by private citizens.
That would be y'all.
That's either, it's not just by gunfire, but private citizens who all jumped on one person. The last part of our thing is fight. But it's multiple ways of stopping these active shooters. But 18 shooters were apprehended by police. All the 2016-17 stats are 20 to 40% higher than 2014 and 15. In 2014 and 15, as I said previously, there's only 40. An active shooter incident occurs, no one ever expected that it would occur. People think, it won't happen to me. I mean, how many people here think there would be an active shooter incident?
I hope
Be
not.
honest.
I hope not.
Any of y'all think you would be in one?
Never think you don't think about it.
Because I mean, before I actually started learning more about this, I was like, I'll never be involved in one.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. I noticed that the statistics seem to be growing every year. Do you have any basis as to why maybe? Is it because people can get guns more readily now than maybe in 2000 or?
It actually has nothing to do with guns and the ability to get guns. It has to do with people losing faith in God, for one. People who aren't brought up properly, people who have lost sensitivity, they have no compassion for human life anymore. It's just the generations and people, the values of people aren't there anymore.
What about copies that?
Good question. Actually, Lieutenant and I were actually discussing this one of the last ones. With the last shooting we had down in Florida, unfortunately, the media did release his name. But prior to that, we've tried to keep the media from releasing the active shooter's name because they're doing it for popularity, so they can be known. And we're not giving them gratification of that anymore, so we're trying to cut down on that because there are some people who are doing it copycats, or they're following the footsteps of people they consider idols, which are mentally, sick in the head because of it.
To touch real quick on what Lieutenant Murphy said.
Thanks for the promotion.
Since the inception of America, there's been guns. Guns isn't the problem. I want y'all to make sure y'all understand that. Like he said, it's losing faith in God, losing faith in humanity and everything else. The number of guns hasn't ever changed. Prior to, was the first statistic you had 2011?
No, 2001.
Or 2001. Before 2001, we still had guns. Still had a lot of guns. The average household per capita in the United States there are more than 2 firearms per person in the United